Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am Beth Roy, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my craft room. So this morning, I wanted to show you this gorgeous stamp set, Oceanfront, and we're going to do a little bit of simple stamping with it. So I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here and make sure my notifications go out and my video is rolling and I can see comments. So when you pop in, say good morning, and let me know where you're coming from. So today I want to talk about the stamp set. I love to build scenes or landscapes. I guess it depends on how you define those things, but I love doing landscapes, and this stamp set is perfect for helping you do backgrounds and do simple stamping. So I'm going to show you some cards that I've done. I've done some very simple cards. This is these birds are from another set, so you can definitely add in to this set. Good morning, Vicki. That looks like the only simple stamped one that I've done. Let me see, I thought I had one more in here. It is. So here's another one that I have done, and I just cut a scrap. I just bannered the end, or flagged, however you whatever you call it. I tend to just call them banners. Good morning, Linda. So, excuse me. I want to show you, I'm going to show you how I've stepped these up and other stamp sets that I've paired them with. Good morning, Susan. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So excited. I can't wait to show you this too. So, this is my next class, my March class. And I'm going to show you the 4 card designs for the class. So the class is $40, and that includes shipping, and it will include this stamp set. And I'll show you all those details at the end. But so I have this card, and then I've also paired this stamp set with other products. So you can do these really simple, or you could make them very detailed. And this stamp set is a great set to have on your shelf to help you do the scenes and the backgrounds. Good morning, Kathy. So here's another one that I did, and I stamped it the same way as I did this one, except for I used the whimsy dies that add this fun stitching around the edge. So you can step it up a little or step it up a lot. Now here are some, here's a simple stamped one. And instead of using it as an ocean, I used greens, and I made a field, and I used the little specks for the sand as flowers. And then here's a stepped up version where I stamped it similar to this, but I added in these dies. So the birds came from On the Horizon stamp set, and they have matching dies, and a lot of these dies are standalone. The only thing that cuts out is this wood piece, and then all of these are standalone dies, and you could put a mountain in the background, you could put trees. I have lots of ideas, I just haven't made all the cards. So you can use these little fence pieces to make like you're going into a meadow, and I just think that's so pretty. And then some other fun ones that I've done is I paired it with that fence post and Sailing Home. So, and this is the new Waves paper, Waves of Inspiration. That just launched March 1st. So I will show you that towards the end because that's a very, very pretty paper. And then this one I paired with the beautiful shaped dies, and I used the hexagons just to make a 3D card. And then this one is one of my favorites. I paired this with Paradise Palms, and I made a sunset. And this is a fun die from those beautiful shapes from the same die set. And I just love that card. And then I made another fun card. So any C sets that you have would work really well with this. So this, I made an underwater scene with Whale Done and this Oceanfront. So this stamp set is so versatile. It's a great set to have on your shelf to go with other things. So any set really can go with this because the backgrounds are so, even though it says Oceanfront, you can definitely use it with other things. So here you see all the different ideas from Stampin' Up! On page 39, and these are in the mini catalog. So that's my next class that I'm running. So we're going to play with that today. And I'm just going to do a simple stamped card. So let me see what I have here. I have a basic white base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored on the 8.5 side at 4 1/4. I have Vicky. I've had so much fun with this set, and I have so many ideas. I just ran out of time putting them all together. So you will definitely see more ideas from me with this set because I just think it is such a great basic set to go with other things. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. So here's what I have on my desk right now, and I want to show you move some things out of the way. So I have Pool Party, and then I have here's a choice. I want to give you guys a choice. So we can make a basic layered card like this. Okay, so we've got our basic white base, a piece of Pool Party at 5 1/4 by 4, and then we have another basic white piece that we can stamp on that is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Or, let me bring in, I got another basic white piece here. We might be able to do 2 cards if I stamp quickly. And then I have this layout as well. So this piece is 5 1/2 by 3. So I have one of those pieces here, and we could do a tone-on-tone stamped panel. So this one I chose to do it on Crumb Cake just to make all those colors pop. But we're going to keep it real simple today. So, what do you guys think? Card 1 or card 2? If I stamp, it looks like I'm going pretty good today. If I can get done, I can do 2 cards by 10, then I'll stamp both of them. So this is my typical card where I just cut some basic layers. Simple stamping, in case you've never heard that term, is just inks. And I have some inks over here. These are the inks I've grabbed because we are going to do an ocean scene today. I have Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, Crumb Cake, and Soft Suede. So it's just inks, your stamps, and your paper. And paper, in my simple stamping world, can be cardstock or designer series paper. So whatever you love. And so we're just going to do some simple cards today. I think this set is gorgeous on its own, and then obviously I think it's a great stepping point if you want to add in more things, die cuts, shapes, other stamp sets. As you can see, it works really well with a lot of things that you may already have on your shelf. Okay, I see 2 votes for number 1, so we'll stamp number 1 first, and then Susan, if I don't talk too much and I get to stamping, we'll stamp this one so you can see, because I love doing a white panel on a white cardstock. I just think it's very simple, but a lot of times it looks so good, and usually I add dimensionals with that just to give it a little bit of separation. So I'm going to bring this in. Let me grab a scrap here to stamp on. As you can see, I've been stamping a ton. So this is a photopolymer set. You're going to want a Pierce mat or the mat from your Stamparatus. And I have most of my stamps already mounted here. As you can see, they've been well loved. I'm just going to wipe them off really quick. I used Rich Razzleberry on these, and you can tell when you use those darker colors, they kind of stain your stamps, and that's okay. That's the sign of a well-loved set, and you'll see most of mine have that pink hue. Sorry, I'm shaking the whole thing, aren't I? Okay, so you stamp the pieces in this order. Okay, so I'm going to do Pool Party up here. My Pool Party is very juicy. I have learned from stamping all these cards. So I'm going to actually stamp off because I want it to be a little bit lighter. This stamp I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, and then this one down here I'm going to use Crumb Cake. And I brought in soft suede for these pieces or the rocks. And you could also bring in a green. I do have Old Olive over here next to me that I was using, so we may use that as well. So I'm going to bring in my basic white piece, and I'm going to stamp, this is my order of things. You can stamp these 3 stamps in any order that you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm actually going to stamp the middle piece first. So it doesn't matter which order you stamp them in, whatever you're comfortable with doing. I'm using Coastal Cabana. And I'm going to stamp that middle piece first. So the front of our stamp set shows it this direction. Obviously, you could make this piece longer by turning it and having a lot of fun with it. That's how I made the grassy pieces. So don't be afraid to switch it around and just have fun with it. So I'm going to stamp this about not quite the middle. And I'm just pressing down. Now I want to say, in the catalog, when you're purchasing this, let me show you on the page in case you haven't noticed it or seen it before. Down here at the bottom, it's going to tell you the suggested blocks. I'm using I. They're very long blocks that are skinny, and then it suggests block C. But I'm also using block H. I have my little land piece here on block H. This is block C. So just so you know, if you don't have those blocks, make sure you at least have the I. And that little piece of land doesn't quite fit on the D block. It will squeeze at an angle on the D blocks. If you only have the D size, which is our typical size, then you can make that one work, but it will not work for these. So just make sure you have this size block as well. So I'm just going to lay this over here. I'm going to clean it a little bit so it's ready for the next time. I just love how this stamps. Look at all the variation you get. It's so fun. Okay, I thought I stamped the wrong color there for a second. Getting ahead of myself. Okay, so now I'm going to do the Pool Party. So how many of you already have this set? Have you bought this set? Maybe you thought you might use it, but you haven't tried it yet. Or have you played with it, or you don't have it at all? So in my class, this stamp set is included in my class. That'll be, it actually, I posted it last night, so it's under my class tab. I always have to look on this one. And it doesn't matter which way you stamp this, but one side is a little bit longer for down here. So I stamped off first because I want this Pool Party to be a little bit lighter. Because like I said, mine's very juicy. And when you first re-ink your stamp sets, you'll notice they're very juicy. You can move that ink around with a plastic spoon If you, because you don't necessarily want to take it up, so you can move it around with a spoon, but mine's stamping pretty dark, so it's up to you. You can stamp off or leave it the full force color. Oh, Linda, I got you covered. I can give you so many ideas. I've had so much fun with this set. Okay, so now I'm going to use Crumb Cake. I'm going to stamp that little bottom piece. I love scenes. Things that you can build scenes with that have a watercolor look. So when we had Snowfront, and I never got I think it was called In the Meadow, and also Waterfront, I loved those sets because you could do so many different things with those sets. So I'm just kind of lining this up. It does overlap a little bit. That's in Crumb Cake. And then I'm going to do some little dots. Get my dots out. And it has several different types of grass and a couple of the rocks. So we can stamp those as well. Now I am going to recommend, because this set doesn't say anything about the smaller blocks, but it does have some small stamp sets. And if you use your block A, you're going to be less likely to get the halo ink, because it's easy to rock these when you're tapping when you have a bigger block. So even though it doesn't tell you that one, if you don't have an A block, I suggest this is a great thing to have in your blocks for smaller stamps. Okay, so I'm just going to put this dottage in there, and you can stamp off a little bit. I like that look. It reminds me of High Tide. I loved the dottage stamp set in that one. Good morning, Shirley. Yeah, I love it, Vicki. It kind of, I don't know. I wish I could color this way, but the stamp does it for me. So that's one of the reasons why it was on my list. I love this just softness that you have on the edge. And like I said, you can layer and layer and layer. Okay, let's see. I think let's do a couple rocks. What do you guys think? The double rock? And I'm thinking right here. Now, what you may notice is this set does not have any greetings. So just pull off whatever you have on your shelf and use your favorite greetings. So I'm going to grab, let's see. I also have Friends Are Like Seashells next to me. I had an idea with that set as well. So I have so many sets we could use. This greetings, this set I pulled out. I have Sailing Home, Friends Are Like Seashells. I have this one. I have On the Horizon. So Relax and Enjoy Your Day could be the front of a birthday card. So I just like to look at all the greetings I have and see what I want to use. I have a ton on my shelf. So when you add this set to your collection, just use the greetings you have. Okay, what do you guys think? Big rock or little rock? We're going to put a rock right here, and we're going to stamp up here for our greeting. A couple more sets. I also love this greeting, the thank you, if you want to make a thank you card or a good friend card. So if you have Free as a Bird, it has some great sets. And I also pull this one out quite often. So a lot of these sets have been on my shelf. We've had them in the catalog for a little while. And so I think anything works with this stamp set. Okay, I see little rocks. And I'm going to use soft suede for that, and I already have my little grass piece out. The beach scenes for me are just so serene, but I do love a good meadow. I mean, who doesn't love a mountain view and fields of flowers, right? So this is one of my favorite things, really. I think these cards can be for men or women. So they're great sets to have. Now I'm going to put this off just a little bit. There we go. That fun watercolored look. Okay. Now I think for the grass, I think I'm going to grab my old olive and use that for the little, and I don't know exactly if this is like grass spouting up or if it's, I forget, you know, it's been a while since I've been to the beach. We went last year, but I don't really remember. So I don't know if there's little green growths that peek through. Trying to see where I want it. Let's just put it right here. But you can use whatever color. So on some of my cards, I have used it in Crumb Cake and different, you know, and soft suede for more like it's brown twit growth or weeds growing up. So I don't know what the exact protocol is for the beach, but it works. And I want to show you something. If you have this set, see this? This mimics this very well. So they're very similar. And I think this set works beautifully with this one. I love these birds and I've used it a bunch together. But today we're just going to add a greeting. I just want you to see the beautiful oceanfront. So in my class, we have the 4 different designs. I will show you those when we're done making these cards. And I have a bonus video that I'm going to show you, a bonus technique that I'm going to show you in the class. So if you buy my class, you'll get those. Okay, now I just need to stamp our greeting. And let's see, what do we think? Do you think birthday, or do you think thank you? Or I had you're amazing. I love stamping my cards with you're amazing. People do not hear how much they're appreciated enough. He says, I need the sandpaper. I tell you, we have so many cute sets. Linda says, I like relax. So relax and enjoy is a great, I love this because then I can stamp the inside with any happy birthday stamp I have, or write happy birthday. If you don't have a happy birthday set, you can certainly write on the inside of your cards. That is okay. Or if you, I have lots of people say, I don't like my handwriting. I have a Word document I have set up so that it prints 4 times on a sheet of basic white, and you could easily use your computer to type happy birthday and whatever message you want and then print onto your cardstock. I do that with all kinds of things. And you can even Stampin' Up! Has put out their hex codes for their inks, so you can even match the ink colors. And I do that often when I'm doing custom invites or cards for my church, and we want certain sayings in there. So that's an option as well. Okay, so I just mounted this. This is red rubber. This is from On the Horizon. And so I don't need the Pierce mat. So I'm going to just put this to the side for a second. Now, I have been stamping my greetings in soft, let's see, I think I used soft suede and crumb cake. So what do you guys think? Greeting in one of these, or on the one card I used Coastal Cabana. So of course I have it on a banner. Where's that card at? So this card I used Coastal Cabana. This card doesn't have a greeting on the front yet, and these are soft suede. And then I've used gray. I did that because I did the birds in gray. This one is soft suede, and see there I did the little grasses in soft suede. That is basic gray. I don't, Linda. I just use Word, my Word program that I use for documents, and I make a text box that measures 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then I copy it 4 times so that I know if I put it in the middle of that box, I can trim it to, I can trim them, you know, in half and in half, and then I can trim them down to either 5 1/4 by 4 or 5 by 3 3/4. So I just format it like that. That's all I do. It's nothing, nothing fancy. I used Misty Moonlight on that card, and this one I used Rich Razzleberry. So I've used all different colors for different sentiments. Oh yeah, Vicki, it would. Relax would go with the retirement too. You're welcome, Linda. Anytime you have questions, just ask. I will definitely share my secrets with you. So here's our greeting for this card specifically. I have Coastal Cabana, and we're going to put it right up here. So everything will show up because we stamped off on the pool party. So I have Coastal Cabana, or we can pull in soft suede or crumb cake up there because we use those on the bottom. I would not pick Old Olive for my greeting, even though I have a little tiny splash there with the grasses. I personally would not choose Old Olive because I just used a tiny bit of it, and it might look okay. I'm not going to say it wouldn't, because I don't consider myself 100% all-knowing of colors, but I feel like there's not enough green to pull it back up. So I typically would pick the brown. That would be my choice, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody here. So I got 2 votes for brown, and I agree, Vicki. Sometimes I would do that, and I did that a little bit on some of my other cards, but I feel like the Old Olive might be too strong. So, and you know what? If you stamped it and you hated it, you could flip this sheet over and just stamp again. Don't ever worry about making a mistake, because that's how you grow, and that's how I personally know I don't typically choose the greens, but I have. So don't feel like you can't. Don't want to discourage you. Okay, looks like soft suede's the vote. So I'm going to put these to the side. We're going to ink that up. Okay, so my goal is to hopefully get it straight. And I am going to let it hang off where this runs into the white and this edges. I'm going to let it hang off of there just a little bit. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you like the brown? I do have one over here, but I have another one I stamped, but I used brown for the grasses instead of the green. Okay, so you can see, other than maybe choosing some colors, and, you know, deciding on which greeting to use, this can be a fairly quick card. The other bonus is if you have the Stamparatus, you could set this up and literally stamp a ton of cards and then just add different greetings and have a whole set of beachy looking cards. So now we're just going to assemble this, and then we're going to stamp another one. I think we have time for another one. So I'm just going to glue these together. Now, I picked Pool Party. Obviously, you could have picked Coastal Cabana. You could have picked one of the browns. So there's lots of different choices that we could have had there. And if you don't have Pool Party on hand and you have the other colors, those would work just as well. So I am in have been doing a lot of use what I got, and I do. I have a ton of cardstock and I have a ton of paper, and so I just want to use what I've got. Obviously I order the basic white quite a bit, so and here's another tip. This is what happened to me this week. I was stamping with my Balmy Blue, and it needs re-inked, and I figured out that I forgot to order the re-inker. So if you're ordering ink pads, make sure you get a re-inker with it, because now I'm stuck waiting on my order to come in. I mean, it still stamps, but it's just really light. But have fun, and it took me a while, even as a demonstrator, to collect all those ink colors. So, you know, use up what you got, and you can make it work. You can make this work with making it look like a field. If you don't, if you think, oh, I don't want that many ocean cards. I know some people that absolutely love the beach, and this set and making cards like this is perfect for those people that I would be sending cards to. So I'm just using liquid adhesive. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not using dimensionals. Even though I will say, when you order, I like to take an inventory and make sure I don't need any adhesives, because I use the liquid glue and dimensionals quite a bit. Now, you could stamp the inside. You could stamp a little ground piece with maybe some rocks and some more of that grass or whatever it's called. Now, and if you don't like stamping right onto this, you could add another mat. You could use a piece of Pool Party and another piece of basic white, or you could just stamp on a piece of basic white and then layer it out onto the inside. When I first started making cards, I did that. I would stamp a piece like this and then glue it on the inside, even if it was on to white, because I just felt more comfortable stamping that way. I don't always have confidence to stamp right onto my card base, but it's okay. You can do it either way. So we could, let me see if I have another piece over here. So we could take this piece. Here's my mat. Thank you, Susan and Linda. I am glad you guys enjoy this card. Yeah, I think this could, go really well. And I had lots of ideas when I saw this. It wasn't, I just got it. I didn't get it right away. So I just got it in, and I've been trying to play with it all week in between other things. So I'm going to take this little ground piece, and I'm just going to stamp it down here towards the bottom. And you could even add in what I did with those, what I did with the dots. Oh, I put them away. It's a perfect place for your stamp to be, right? Especially when you don't see it on your table. I love this set. Now, it wasn't top of my list to get when the catalog first came out, but I think as we're nearing spring, I tend to like to make spring and summer cards. I'm done with winter. I feel like I'm beyond that. So I'm just taking that dottage and I'm adding it in there. A little more right here. Now this is the stamp that I used for the flowers. And like I said, there's so many sets where we have tiny flowers, tiny things. You could definitely use other stamps with it. And then I'm going to stamp, I'm not going to stamp any water. I'm just going to stamp, I think, some of the little grass here. And then we can stamp this inside, you know, retirement, birthday, whatever you think goes with your phrase. Excuse me. And then we just put this on the inside. So I tend to leave mine blank. And then I use my Stamparatus when I want to stamp the words. Since I'm already gluing this together, I don't want to mess it up, or I have to cover it up again. And I just put that on the inside. And if you guys saw my post yesterday, looks like that blue ink came off my thumb, huh? I had all kinds of issues with my inks. So there's the inside. Or you could write a very lovely handwritten message. Okay, so looks like we got time to quickly stamp this next card. So this one's going to be even more basic because we're not even using colored cardstock. We're using basic white. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and the 8.5 side is scored at 4 1/4. And your trimmer does this for you. So one of the best things about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer is you can cut your paper and then you can score it. It has both blades. It has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. And then I have a piece of basic white. It is 3 inches by 5.5. So I want this to layer literally right in the middle. And I'm going to use dimensionals to pop it up a little bit. Now you can definitely layer it up or make it as simple as possible. So we're going to stamp the same way we did before, but I'm going to stamp it in a little bit different order so you can see maybe a different way to stamp it. So I'm going to stamp it from the bottom up. So I'm going to do Crumb Cake first. And I'm using all the same colors. I'm just stamping it in a different way. Now this piece is obviously longer than this piece, so I'm going to stamp this about right here, and then I'm going to stamp it again, and I'm going to ink, and I'm going to stamp it again. And you can even turn it and kind of fill in that area. So I'm stamping that twice. You don't have to. You can leave the white space on the top and bottom. That would be absolutely fine. But I'm just bringing my sand down a little bit. And then I'm going to put those dots on there, and I'm using Crumb Cake again. can turn this every which way and get just a little up here. There we go. So we have some rough looking sand. Oh, do you hear Joe? Yeah, Joe has popped into his room next to me and he is playing a game. So the joys of working at home, right? Your family is part of this too. So let me put this one out of the way just a tad because I'm afraid I'm gonna get ink on it. So then I'm gonna stamp the Coastal Cabana. So I'm stamping from the bottom up. And let me see, where did I do this long one? So this one that I did the long one on, I actually stamped this piece. Let me show you. I stamped it several times and I turned it around. So you can stamp it like that all the way up, or you can leave white on either end. We're gonna leave a little bit of white on this one. So I'm inking that middle piece up with the Coastal Cabana. And it's okay if you leave some white space. Don't be afraid of white space. Aw, thanks, Vicki. No worries, Sharon. Good morning. We're just stamping some beach scenes. And we're starting on our second card, so you'll just have to go back when we're done and watch the first card. It's a lot of fun. This is my next class. So I'm just going to stamp it once. And then I'm going to stamp the pool party. And so I'm going to use that top piece. Because I don't want it as dark, I am stamping off. So I'm going to stamp off. And I'm going to stamp, lining that right up. Like that. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to stamp off twice, and I'm going to turn it. And I'm just going to layer a little bit more. And let me stamp that off again. I left a dark mark in there. That's okay. We'll just keep stamping over it. I wanted it to get lighter, but I guess I should have overlapped my water a little bit. That's okay, easy enough to fix. So I wanted my sky to be a little bit higher, and I stamped it twice. I could have stamped it right on top of each other, but that's okay, we want that. We want a variation there. And then I'm gonna come in, let's see, where's our soft suede? And we're gonna do our two little rocks. And I'm gonna put them down here. And I like to let these sit for just a second because I want that ink to really soak in. I want them to be very dark. Now, if you're using your Stamparatus, you could stamp it, and if it's not dark enough, just ink and stamp again. So that's one of the bonuses of using the Stamparatus when you're making these cards, is you can always make your images darker. Okay, now I grabbed my old olive, and I got that little grassy sprouting piece. I'm just going to put it right here. Okay, so now we're on to our sentiment, or greeting, as we call it. So, do we want to do relax and enjoy your day, or would you guys like to pick something else? So, I've done a lot of thinking of you. Or we can do a happy birthday. I love the fonts in this set. We can do a thank you. or the other one is You're Amazing. So you know, you could do this as an encouragement card, or Vicky says happy birthday. Okay. So let's see. This is the happy birthday I have just out in front of me. But obviously we have lots of different styles of happy birthdays. One of my favorite sets is the Biggest Wishes set, because it has all different fonts, and they're big. They would cover a lot, but they may be a little bit too big for this 3-inch piece. So we have lots and lots of different happy birthdays. And of course you could bring in the birds, and we have birds in, let's see, there's birds in Sailing Home, On the Horizon, or if you have some of the retired sets, like I want to say Snowfront might have had them. I can't remember, but I know High Tide had them. So if you have some of those retired sets, you can have some birds to add in too. But we're just going to keep it simple today. So I've got one thinking of you, and I've got one happy birthday vote. So here's the thinking of you that I have. This is from On the Horizon. So we'll vote between those two. So thinking of you or happy birthday. I definitely use a lot of those kinds of cards. And yes, on the inside, I would literally just stamp it the same way that we did for this one. And if you wanted, you could stamp a little scene, but I just like a little bit on the corner. So it's completely up to you. All right, we'll do happy birthday. All right, so now we need to pick an ink color. So I'm going to put them all on the table except for Pool Party. So here's our ink colors. What you guys vote and tell me what you think. Do you want happy birthday is going to be up here? So we can either put it all the way up, or I'm thinking about right here. So that's where I'm going to do the happy birthday. Yeah, I definitely like the thinking of you. I have done that one several times. And I like when it kind of comes off of the watercolor. And this one I didn't put it on there at all. And I did this one where it hung off. So we don't have a lot of space to hang off on this one because we used a 3-inch piece of paper. And I want to show you, if you wanted to step this up, I have all these pieces laying here. You know, you can add in the fence, or I sponged this one. Isn't that cute? So we're not stepping it up today, but just so you have ideas. So if you have this set and you want to play, okay, so our ink choices, you can say green for Old Olive, or Coastal Cabana is an aqua, or soft suede or crumb cake. So I'm not sure if I have any thinking of you stamp sets that are stacked, Vicki. I'd have to look through my shelf. So soft suede. I typically go for the neutrals when I'm picking these. That's my go-to, is I usually pick the neutral that I've used in the stamping. And so we have Crumb Cake or soft suede. Good morning, Dad. Thanks for popping in. So I have 2 votes for soft suede. Anyone else want to throw anything out there? Okay, Sharon says soft suede. I think you guys have spoken. Now, I don't need my Pearson mat again for this one. So I'm just putting this on my block, and I'm trying to make sure it's straight to the top of the block, because my sticker's not always. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I often get things crooked. Yeah, you can do that, Vicki. You're right. You can mask it and then do that. Definitely. So I'm just going to stamp this towards the top. I got it pretty straight. Excuse me. So that happy birthday was from Paradise Palms, which I love the look of this set. And I think it works perfectly with this, this background set. That's what I used. I used Paradise Palms on this one. So I combined this set with the Oceanfront to make this card. And I did use my Stamparatus so that I could stamp those trees really dark. So I love that set with this one. Okay, again, I'm not going to finish the inside of this card, but I would stamp a piece of basic white and put it on the inside. Good word, Vicki. Whopper-jawed. Yeah, I am just, things don't always end up straight in my world. That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to grab some dimensionals. You could also use the foam strips or the squares or whatever you have. And I tend to put a lot on here. I like it to be very sturdy. Some people just put a few. So do you. Nobody's judging. I definitely get in a hurry. I am probably, that's, when you get a bunch of new stamps in and you have to put the labels on, after a couple sets, I get very impatient. So that's just life, because I want to hurry up and use them. You know, it's good. It's for good reason. So I'm just peeling the backs off of those. I used dimensionals, and I'm going to line this up with the top. Let's see how successful I can be without putting it all the way down. So I'm just running my finger across there, and then I'm going to put the rest of it down. Hopefully I got it straight. So by using dimensionals, it just gives it a little bit of lift off of that white. But isn't that gorgeous? It's just a simple card. We used one cardstock, and we just let our inks do all of the work. Where'd my other card go that I made? Here we go. So here's our 2 cards from today. If you guys loved this tutorial, make sure you give me some love on my video. Let me know that you liked it. Feel free to share or invite your friends to come craft along with us. And you could stamp your envelope too. I don't have one over here with me, but you could definitely decorate up your envelope. So, thank you for joining me this morning. Exactly, Vicki. Exactly. We need lots of time to stamp. So, my class that's coming up, you can sign up for it right now. It closes on March 13th, and it includes the Oceanfront stamp set and get my cards here. I did originally include these pebbles in the class. However, they are not going to be orderable until the end of March. So I've decided to take those off. And the sea glass is a great alternative, but that one is also not available. So we're going to use these gorgeous wave rhinestones. They have Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, and Night of Navy in there. And I'm gonna, when I do my class video, I'll have samples that have those on there instead of the pebbles. So the kits, you get this with the class, as well as 8 card kits. So you'll get 2 that look similar to this, 2 with this, but I'm gonna add a sentiment, 2 that show you how to make meadows out of Oceanfront. And you can also stamp even this one with a beachy theme. So you get the die cuts, and then you'll have to add in whatever greetings you have on hand and inks and adhesive. So you get 8 card kits, 8 envelopes, the Oceanfront stamp set, the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels for $40, and it's shipped to you. So if you are interested in that class, you can hop over to my class tab, and it has a Google form there that you can use to sign up. And a bonus on the class video is going to have how I made my sunset here. So if you loved my cards, give me a little heart on my video. And if you need any Stampin' supplies, feel free to hop over to bethroy.stampinup.net and click on Shop Now and order any supplies that you need. If you need any help, I'm always here. You just have to message me, and I would be happy to help you with any supply lists or ideas for projects or things that can work with things you already have on hand. So if you ever need me, I'm just a message away. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thanks, Vicki. Yes, I haven't done any embossing folders yet, Vicki, but that's definitely on my list. This set, I just have so many ideas. Sometimes my brain works faster than my crafting time is available. No, Vicki, it's our secret. We did miss Jenny today. Hopefully she'll watch later. So thank you all. Have a wonderful Saturday and a great weekend. And look for a challenge next week. I want to challenge you to get those creative juices flowing. So I will see you soon. Take care.